Well, even if you take the issue of how policing was done on that day,
right?
Someone who covered the rally and then later was near the Capitol. The thing that struck me so much was the complete lack of policing. It was very different from the rallies and marches that I've covered in the last few decades in Washington, D.C., and it was noticeable to me. We still haven't gotten any answers, really, about why that was. We know a little bit. We know that the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, didn't seem to want the necessary policing. Of course, Capitol Police report to the House and the Senate, which means there are some pretty tough questions for Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, who were then at the time in charge, to answer about why they didn't prepare for this.
Right.
One of the things about the impeachment is that they were claiming that this was something that everyone would have known that this type of thing would have happened. Well, if that's true, why didn't they have proper policing? Even without knowing that unrest would occur, you would normally have, for that size of a crowd, a far higher police presence. And yet, people aren't interested in discovering that. They're so interested in just pushing a political point and not actually informing people. There is so much we need to know, and unfortunately, I don't think that we have a good approach to finding out more about, who was involved and how policing decisions were handled, and who's really responsible, who's really responsible.
Right, and that might be very well why, as soon as the question of witnesses came up in the impeachment trial, they quickly wrapped up the tent and said, okay, everybody, let's go home. Do you think that they were afraid of getting those kind of questions? Because no one understands why Nancy hasn't been asked about that.
Well, just in general, we have so much that we need to learn about this.
One of the reasons that I watch media on both sides, even far left and far right, center, pretty much across the range, is because we have a lot of propaganda in this country. So if you're watching either side, there's going to be huge gaps. So if you want to investigate what happened at the Capitol, and you want to know if the Democrats did anything wrong, right-wing media and Fox News might have some information, because it is their MO to attack the left. So if Pelosi really screwed up, left-wing media is not going to be as fast as the right to point it out. However, the right is more comfortable with being dishonest, from what I've seen. So you also got to be, beware of garbage. But you can get some potential leads, because if there's anything, that's the point. If there's anything at all the Democrats have done wrong, chances are someone on the right will pick up on it first. So I go over there and look at what they have, see if it's nonsense or if there's something to it, then I can investigate further. I certainly wouldn't just take their word for it. So she's saying Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, for some reason, she's putting it on them. None of my research is agreeing with that, so I don't know what that's based on. From what I'm seeing, they have an organizational structure that goes from private in training, private first class, technician, detective, sergeant, lieutenant. Doing a full analysis here. Who does the chief of police report to? Aha. What is this? You reference Speaker of the House. Why is she referenced here? Oh, storming of the Capitol. Interesting. So they reference her in storming of the Capitol section. Let me digest this. So the Speaker of the House, I guess, had the chief resign. So that would be the top guy. Which would be, if Pelosi was the one that said, you don't need many people, why would she then further expose herself by then making this guy resign? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the basis is for them to say we got to question Pelosi. So they report to the Capitol Police Board. So I saw that before. That's the body that governs the United States Capitol Police. 3 voting members: Sergeant of Arms of the United States, Sergeant of Arms of the United States, another person, and the architect of the Capitol. They got a really weird structure. See, the chief reports directly to the Capitol Police Board. We know who they are, but who do they report to? I'm reading another story here where they were saying, so there's an officer who, OMG with the ads. So Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund. Wow. The police chief. He actually requested more help. He wanted more help. I remember this story about the optics, and it's so weird. The media is like all over all this crap. And it's something like this. This should be a major story. Like, I'm just some guy on the internet Googling stuff. They've got resources and connections. Why am I doing this? We should know by now what happened when he asked the House and Senate security officials. See, I don't like that. Who did he ask? Did he not say who they were? House and Senate security. What does that mean? Sergeant at Arms. I think that's the, which makes sense. He reports to the board. That's the board, right? Yeah, the Sergeant at Arms. Wow. So this would have been the guy, in theory, who denied the support. So why is his name not mentioned? Why is she talking about Nancy Pelosi? I'm digging and I'm digging. I'm getting close. I'm seeing House of Representatives. I mean, he's the Sergeant of Arms of the United States House of Representatives. Well, I guess logically, since Pelosi is the head of the House of Representatives. But she's so far up. Yeah, see, Pelosi announced that he would be resigning. So the House and Senate Sergeant at Arms positions are political positions as they are elected and selected by members in their respective chambers. So that means Pelosi selected, well, actually, yeah. Pelosi, now I see why they're saying Mitch McConnell and Pelosi. So Pelosi would have appointed that guy, and Mitch McConnell would have appointed the one for the Senate. See, this is why we need more details, because which is the one that denied the National Guard? Did they both do that? Was it which I guess the Fox News is a valid question then. They were saying we need to question both of them. Find out which one of them denied the support because of optics. Who said that? And why does anyone say that without saying who said it? Why do you say, oh, they said optics? Who's they? This is interesting. So this would make it seem that although Trump's attorney was a lunatic, and this is why it's good to not be partisan. Because if you get too caught up in the partisanship, you won't see when your preferred side, whether you are a registered member of a party or not, the side that you more lean towards, you won't see when they are up to no good. Because you're only thinking of the other side as the enemy. So when Pelosi does something bad, you don't even think about that she might have done something. House Republicans question Pelosi's security decisions leading up to Capitol riots. So they're saying security decisions. So she made decisions? What decisions are they referring to? So the chief of police had his January 4th request for National Guard assistance rejected by former Sergeant of Arms Paul Irving. So Paul Irving. So now we got a name. He is the one. The House. Wow. So they're saying on the day of the Capitol riots, Sund moved to notify the Sergeant at Arms of his request for National Guard assistance and said it took over an hour for his request to be approved because the SAA, Sergeant at Arms I guess, had to run the request up the chain of command. That chain undoubtedly included Pelosi. This article was written on the 11th. Why don't we yet have answers for this? This is actually ridiculous. And now I'm starting to really get suspicious of what that disgusting lady has done. This is getting insane. So they're saying she dismissed him because he hasn't called us since this happened. That's this quote. Republicans say that claim was refuted by Sund, who detailed two occasions that he briefed her on the situation at the Capitol campus. The first at 5:36 p.m. and the second at 6:25 p.m., both on January 6th. The thing I don't get about stuff like this is, so they sent her a letter, so she just didn't respond? This is the 11th. We're now in February 15th. It's like over a month ago. This is unacceptable. Did she really respond with a Donald Trump, sorry, we can't give you the information you want? What? How is this not a major... Oh my goodness. Partisan media just drives me nuts. Even me watching left-wing and right-wing media, so many sources, and yet still stuff like this slips through the cracks. This should be a major, major story all over CNN, MSNBC. Those useless bastards. But frankly, I haven't been seeing this in conservative media either. They're too busy playing. You see, that's the thing. They're not even, this is a legitimate thing. Like, if they cared anything about truth, where is Crowder? Where's Crowder and Tim Pool? They're too busy talking about AOC because she felt like she might die. And cancel culture. This is a huge story, and I don't see anybody talking about it. Disgusting. All right, guys. It's like super late again. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I gotta get some sleep. I got some stuff to do. I'll try to continue to investigate this. But hopefully I'm going to find someone else already investigating it that I can report to you guys on, because I got to find a job. I'm doing these videos for free and spending way too much time on it. But as you can tell, I'm quite passionate about it. Unlike a ton of people on YouTube that actually get paid for it. They're just passionate about the money. Right.